Hey y'all, I am Fikayo and welcome back to At the Table podcast, where we gather around a virtual table to discuss all things adulting as I help you navigate the twists and turns of adulthood as I'm trying to figure it out myself. So grab a seat, settle in, and let's dive in on another episode of At the Table podcast. Today we will be talking about 3 books, 3 quotes, and 3 questions that I've kind of been sitting on. This episode is perfect in case you want to hear my opinion and you're trying to get put on some game. If you're trying to dissociate for a while and maybe just do it with a friendly voice, or if you just want some white noise, I will be all of those things. I will be your teacher, friend, or distraction. Come on. All right. So how are you? I'm stressed, y'all. I am tired. Like, so much has been going on lately, but I must commend myself. Fikayo has been doing such a good job at handling all the things. I am so proud of her. I have come to just my planner is literally my life, and I am just at this place where I am like extremely organized and I'm sticking to my organization things, I guess, and I'm doing so well at like setting my to-do list and then following through my to-do list for the day, and that's really what's been helping me with my life. But if I didn't have that child, I don't know what would have happened, but I'm happy, I'm thankful, I'm grateful because I'm okay, you know? All right, so I can't wait to like start talking about the 3 books, 3 quotes, 3 questions, y'all. I've been thinking about this all week and I've just been like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. But of course, before we start, I have to ask you our questions. And the first one is, have you been praying? For people that are new, this segment is important because it kind of it helps us allow God to hold space in this podcast, which is really important to me. And also, I want to help in facilitating your own relationship with God. If I can do that, I want to do that. So, yes. Lately, I have been praying for really good mentors and really good people in my life. There's nothing like it. Good relationships, good friendships, good mentorship. There is nothing that comes after that, to be honest. Good people make you a good person, and I really want to experience that to the fullest in my life. I want to be around people who will constantly encourage me, who will constantly motivate me, who will see me breaking down walls and offer to pick up a hammer and help me break it down as well. I need people who are willing to build me. I need people who are willing to grow with me, you know? So I've really just been praying for good company and good mentors. Yeah, that's it. All right, let's move on to our next segment, and that is, what are you snacking on? If you are new here, this segment essentially is just a place for us to discuss anything that's relevant happening in our lives, including pop culture, news events, and anything that's going on really in your mind. Usually I put these questions up on Instagram and I read them out, but I didn't do that this week. We're getting better. We're trying to get better. But what has been on my mind recently has just been consciousness. I have been reading, listening, podcasting, everything like consciousness, and it's kind of crazy. I didn't realize how important what you are thinking about consciously and also subconsciously is to the reality of your life. And you know, it's funny because the Bible talks about these things, like as a man thinks he is, but sometimes you're thinking and you're not even conscious of the fact that you're thinking. So lately I've just been first off, I've been reading and consuming a lot of content on this specific topic because I'm naturally intrigued. And also, I have also been doing the work myself to figure out, like, what am I thinking? Where does my brain go throughout the day? Where are my thoughts, you know? And trying to place them and just being more intentional about that little voice in my head. Because I just think it's cool and I think it's a good skill to have. But yeah, I have been doing everything, consciousness, subconscious, really just thinking about it, and it's been pretty good. I can't really tell you guys much information about it. Maybe we'll have a podcast episode about it later once I've learned all the things, but it's pretty good and I think it's worth the exploration. All right, you guys, now we can talk about our topic of the day, and I'm really excited about this. So it is going to be 3 books, 3 questions, and 3 quotes. And the reason why I'm doing this is because we live in a world where everything is happening so fast and there's an overload at every turn. And I think it's it's good to just take this breather and concentrate on 3 specific things at a time. And that's where these 3 questions, 3 books, and 3 quotes come in. Here at the table, we are trying to encourage self-discovery and also deep thinking. So that is why I was really excited to do an episode like this. But we're going to start off with 3 books, then we're going to go into 3 questions, and we're going to talk about why those 3 questions matter, and then we're going to go into the 3 quotes. Okay? All right. So, with the 3 books, I've read all 3 of these books to their entirety. And I've tried to pick books that I tried to pick books in one section, right? So I tried to do one in fiction, I tried to do one in self-help, and I tried to do a memoir. Those are the 3 genres? I don't even know. Those are the 3, genres, I guess, of books that I've been really, really reading lately. So the first one is Verity by Colleen Hoover. First of all, this book is good. I read it in 48 hours. I don't know what it is about Colleen Hoover. Like anything Colleen Hoover, I can consume it, I eat it, I swallow it all at once. It is a problem. But I read this book and I was left like mind effed. Like I think about this book still on a daily basis, and I read it about 2 days ago. Like, no, Verity was crazy. I don't want to spoil this book, but if you are looking for a really good fiction read, I absolutely recommend Verity. It is so good. All right, so let's go to our next book. Our next book is called Find Your People. And this book is just about how to manage and invest in friendships. I'm someone who doesn't know how to do that. So this book, she's so good at like talking about it as well. And I know it sounds really boring. When I used to hear about like self-help books, I used to be like, what the hell? Like, they're just going to tell me generic information. But no, she actually like walked us through some friendships in her life. She gave us some examples. She gave us some practical skills. She also was a Christian as well, so she tied it back into the Bible. And mind you, when I go into like books, for the most part, aside from the title, I don't know any other information. For the most part, I do not read the back cover. I do not read the synopsis. If the title is good and the cover is good, I'm reading the book. So when I was reading it and I started hearing her talk about Paul, I was like, wow, who is this person? And then eventually I realized that she was a Christian as she started using more Christian metaphors. But it was a really, really good, insightful book, and it definitely changed the way I viewed friendship. I think it's one of those concepts as well that people don't really talk about. So to hear someone talk about how they manage their friendship, which is a skill in of itself, but how they manage their friendships was really, really cool to just be a passive observer of the experiences that she went through and the trials and tribulations that she experienced managing her friendships. So I highly recommend that. And if you're into memoirs, Becoming by Self Obama is wonderful. She is just the queen. She is so good. Miss Michelle can adopt me. She is so good. I just, I really believe in encouraging one another, and I really believe in self-help, and I really believe in motivating, and I think her book does that literally perfectly. And she is a very good example for young girls and developing girls as well. So I highly recommend those books. Verity, Find Your People, and Becoming by Michelle Obama. All right, so now we're going to go into our 3 questions. And the first question is, what matters? The second question is, what is missing? And the third question is, what is next? It was actually my mentor who asked me these questions myself. And she told me, Addie, I want you to think about this. And I was like, okay. So as she's given it to me, I'm going to give it to you guys as well. I'll explain each one and why each question is critical. But as I'm explaining it, I really want you to be doing the introspection behind all of these things and figuring out what matters, what is missing, and what is next. All right, so the first question, what matters, is really important because it helps us identify our priorities, values, and goals. By asking ourselves what truly matter, we can gain insight of what we want to focus on what is the most important in our lives, and it helps us align our actions and decisions with our own personal core values, leading us to a more fulfilling and purposeful life. Second question is, what is missing? This question prompts us to critically assess a situation or a problem and identify the gaps or deficiencies in said problem. It helps us uncover our potential weaknesses, overlook factors, or unmet needs. By understanding what is missing, we can take the steps to fill in those gaps and make improvements, also by encouraging creativity and innovation as we seek new solutions or ideas to fill the void. And the next question is, what is next? This question revolves around anticipating and planning for the future. It encourages forward thinking and helps us consider potential outcomes and consequences of our actions. By asking what's next, we can set goals, we can develop strategies, and we can make informed decisions that align with our long-term aspirations. And it allows us to adapt to creating circumstances and it allows us to adapt changing circumstances and stay productive in pursuing our desired outcomes. So yes, what matters, what is missing, and what is next? Hold on to those, think about it, and then maybe, hopefully, these questions can bring you to a place of self-realization. These questions can help you move forward. That hopefully these questions encourage reflection and analysis, and also action, as they provide a framework for evaluating your choices, identifying areas of improvement, and also charting a path forward in your personal and professional lives. By asking these questions regularly, we can foster growth, make decisions, and live lives that are more fulfilling. And here at the table, we value that. So please, as I was asking those questions, I hope that you were writing them down, or you were really just thinking about it, and hopefully it moves you to the next trajectory of your life. All right, y'all, we are almost done. We are now sitting on our 3 quotes, and these 3 quotes I picked personally, and they are literally quotes that have been sitting inside of my life. So no, they didn't come up out of nowhere. But the first one is, in every seed, there's a promise of 1,000 forces. Oh my God. No. Okay, so the first one is, in every seed, there's a promise of thousands of forests. I love that quote. Oh my goodness. I am in a stage of my life right now where I'm like, I'm going to be a farmer. I'm planting seeds into my youth or whatever, and I'm going to let the crops all kind of just grow up, whatever. But I just like that metaphor, like everything that I'm planting, I like that connection that is made. Like everything that I am planting, it has the potential to become something that I don't even anticipate, something that I have no understanding of, something that can be huge, something that can be a forest. And like it just, I don't know. It reaffirms everything that I'm doing, all the little things that I'm doing. Like, I really don't know what it's going to do tomorrow, and I really don't know where it's going to take me tomorrow. So continue to plant your seeds, continue to be diligent, continue to water them, and I will. So that quote right there, I've really been sitting on it. It's actually on my wall. All 3 of these are actually on my wall, but this quote specifically really meant a lot to me. The second quote, I don't know where I read this, but it's our duty to matter. And that is so true. It really, really is. Like, our futures are literally in our hands. I remember my mentor was talking to me, and she was like, how did you get to this understanding that you literally are the captain of your own fate? And I was like, it took a lot of pain, to be honest. It took a lot of life, like, showing it to me. But I've come to this place where I truly, truly understand that you are literally the captain of your own faith. It is your duty to make sure that you matter. I was telling my sister the other day that, look, we're all gonna die one day, right? But at least if I'm gonna die kicking ass. Like, for real, I'm gonna die kicking ass. And that I don't even know, like, there's nothing else to say about that. if when I die, like, I'm gonna know that I painted the town red. I did what I had to do. So I really like how this quote puts agency back in your hands, and it makes you realize that you have to work to matter, but it is your duty to matter. I liked that a lot. Now, lastly, this last quote really meant a lot to me, and I think it was Oprah that said this, or Yanla, I don't know. But it is, separate what you are from what you are not. Oh my goodness. How often have we been called titles or labels when we were younger that were bad? How often did our parents say or feed bad things into us, and then they become an identity inside of us? Like, I remember I was told I was lazy, so much so when I was a child, that when I grew up, I was like, they already call me lazy, so I might as well just continue to be lazy. And it just wasn't even productive for me. So I got to a stage where I had to even be conscious of that idea inside my subconscious, right? And then I had to realize that, no, Fikayo, you are not lazy. That is not your name. That is not your title. That's not your identity. You have to separate yourself out of that. So literally, I had to sit down and think about it, like, what am I and what am I not? And then the things that I definitely don't want to be, okay, what does a person who is the opposite of this characteristic, what do they look like? Because no one's ever told me or shown me what probably this person looks like. No, everyone's just yelled at me or told me that I was the opposite of whoever I should ideally be, but no one's ever shown it to me or told it to me. So I would start looking up things that would help make me more productive. I would start looking up things that would help me be more motivated. I would start looking up things that would help me get up, And it was so sad, because essentially I wasn't inherently lazy. I just wasn't motivated, or I just didn't have the tools in order to be properly productive. And that wasn't even my fault. That was no one's fault. It was just I didn't have the tools for it, So I think that type of introspection from this quote is very, very important. What do people say that you are that you don't want to be anymore? Separate yourself from that. Literally, physically pull yourself out of that and stand on your own. It's so important. It's so important. But yeah, that is it, y'all. I think this is the shortest episode, or the shortest podcast that I've ever made, but I really like the simple concept of 3 books, 3 quotes, 3 questions. It is so cute. But yeah, it is time to clear the table and wash the dishes, y'all. Thank you so much again for having me in your ears. I hope that you've gained some new insight on how to navigate adulting. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to my podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback really, really helps us. And if you want to see the face behind the voice, please follow us at Fikayo. And yeah, if you're listening on Spotify, please enter the Q&A you see right there. Yep. And yeah, I think that's it. I really do. Okay, y'all. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and stay connecting. I love y'all so much. Bye.